I actually wanted to address that, the issue of the Department of Corrections funding these treatment programs. It seems like a pretty obvious case of a conflict of interest because they want the prison beds filled and they're doing a program that's meant to keep them empty. So there seems to be an open partnership here between the state and the prison industrial complex. So do you think that a necessary approach would be to attack head-on the fact that the Department of Corrections has this power, or to create alternative treatment programs that would obviate the need for their use?
Well, first and foremost, it's like the fox guarding the hen house. And by this I mean because of the interest that the state has, you've got thousands of employees that are state employees that work for the Department of Corrections. You got unions that also are involved in that. And when you start to think about criticizing or pointing that out, there's going to be these political ramifications because of the number of families that will be impacted. And you say, well, these aren't criminal families. You're going to start to take away from them by trying to come up with alternatives to give to these inmates, these felons. And so therefore there would be a better option to just not approach that. So I think that'll be a continued barrier as you start to look at this thing, even in our state government, and as we've seen around other parts of the country, that folks start to look at, well, is privatization of prisons the better way to go? Because you can get someone to come in here and run it smarter and cheaper and better, and then you get some of those inhumane conditions. I believe that our government has a responsibility to us, and I think it will have to be a different expectation placed on them, a different mandate to say, this is what we, the people, want, and this is how we want our tax dollars to be used. One of the points that I made here was that it'll be important as you divert these corrections dollars that you figure out a way for those families, those people that work in that system. Because when you look at it, you look at our state budget, one of the largest budget items in the state of Michigan is the Department of Corrections. And so there's something not quite right with that picture, but you'll have to deal with that and what that means to our economy, because the state of Michigan's economy is ingrained with this whole prison industrial complex. Jobs and people, and we're now talking about not jobs, not having jobs, and so it will require us to be more creative to come up with other options as opposed to putting people in prison and having them being indoctrinated into that.